Hi, Jewish Mom. I want to tell you about something nice that happened this week. So you all know that I have a blog, jewishmom.com. And so whenever I post something on my blog, then I notice like how many people have come to see that post. And I look at the number. I look at the number on Facebook. And that for me is like, so I think, okay, that's the number of people that saw it. So something interesting happened this week. So I was left a comment by Rishi Deitch, who's the editor of the Neshei Chabad newsletter. And she wrote there how that she posts that she prints my articles in every single one of the Neshei Chabad newsletters for the last few years. She's been printing my articles. And I think that this is something that I knew about and I kind of forgotten about because 2 years ago we moved. And I hadn't updated my mailing address to the Neshei Chabad newsletter, so I kind of like forgot that Neshei Chabad newsletter was sending out my articles to all of its subscribers, and it was just like a reminder for me that really, like, when we put something out in the world, we have no idea how we have no idea how many people it's reaching, how many people we're affecting through the things that we do. And many years ago, someone said to me, I was talking about the website, and I was saying, I want the website to be reaching more and more people. And this person who's a very smart, insightful person, she said, I'm against this phenomenon of biggering and biggering, milashon, from the word big. Biggering and biggering. We want things bigger and bigger. She said, because you have no idea. You reach one person, and how deeply you impacted that person, we don't know. How many ripples you're creating just through that one person, through their family, through their friends, the people that they are in touch with. And you have no idea. I see a number in my site statistics, but it's really it really gives you no sense of the impact that you're actually having. So the reason I'm talking about this now is because it's kind of, I think, a more modern phenomenon that every Tisha B'Av, then not only do we talk about the Chorban, people talk about the spiritual Chorban, the spiritual destruction, which is now going on in the world of Jews. Jews leaving tradition, Jews cut off from Hashem, cut off from the Torah, and this spiritual Chorban, and taking and using Tisha B'Av as an opportunity to think of, like, what can we do to combat the spiritual Chorban, and to bring Jews back to their Creator, bring Jews back to the Torah and tradition. And so I just want to share one story. So many years ago, I was a student at a college in Maine called Bowdoin. That's spelled Bowdin. If you haven't heard of it, you're not alone. Most people outside of the New England area haven't heard of it. So I was completely cut off from, like, there wasn't, I think, like, the nearest person keeping Shabbat was probably an hour away from where I was, or keeping kosher, keeping anything. I really Jewishly was completely cut off. Um, and uh, Whatever. So the interesting thing was that I grew up going to a Quaker high school, which is a kind of Christian, and my best friend growing up was a girl whose name was also Jenny, and she was Quaker. And The interesting thing was that for her freshman year of college, she went actually to Barnard, which is the women's school of Columbia, which has a very, very large Orthodox community. And the way that it works there, at least it was, this is many years ago, 25 or more years ago, is that the Orthodox students, they congregated on the lower floors so that they wouldn't have of the dorms. Like, I think it was a high kind of building for the dorm, but on the lower floors it was mostly, or it was many Orthodox girls living on the lower floors. So my friend, who was Quaker, not Jewish at all, she was on one of the lower floors, and her roommate was a girl named Allie, who was an Orthodox Jew. And so I would talk with my friend, and I was up in Maine, with no Jewish connection, no anything Jewish going on there, completely, very not Jewish place, Bowdoin College. So my friend Jenny from Barnard, she would call me and she'd say, these Orthodox Jews, yeah, like now, she said, now like everyone I hang out with, they're all Orthodox Jews. And on Shabbat, and they did this. And for kosher day, they did this, and kind of telling me about like what it's like. And I remember that Jenny was telling me, Ali is very Zionistic and she loves Israel and she wants to make Aliyah. I'm sorry. But the interesting thing is that, Ali, to this day, has no idea that just by living as an Orthodox Jew, that she was affecting, and really, the truth, it really kind of made me think about it. It made me think like, oh, Orthodox Jews, like I never thought about that before. People who are actually keeping Shabbat, people who are keeping kosher, people who are living a traditional Jewish life. It never occurred to me before I heard about Ali, my friend's Barnard roommate. It never occurred to me that there are Orthodox Jews. And also I heard from my friend Jenny. I heard she's a very nice person and very cool and very with it. And it kind of interested me. So Ali, to this day, has no idea that she at Barnard College, living as an Orthodox Jew, was having an impact on Jenny Friedman. Many hours to the north in Maine at Bowdoin College. So I was thinking about this story the other day, because I was with my husband Josh in Tel Aviv, and we entered a store, and it was very kind of like this hipster kind of young, Chiloni, secular kind of vibe there. And we went in, and I was just like kind of looking at this and looking at that, and it occurred to me, I didn't really think, I'm for so many years walking around looking like an Orthodox Jew, with my hat and my skirt and my whatever, that doesn't really occur to me like how different I do look. But all of a sudden I was thinking, like that these people, these Chilonim, these secular Jews, that they see me, and they're like, oh, that it awakens within them, wow, like kind of like Ali did for me from Barnard to Bowdoin. Chana Weisberg walking into this, store full of secular Jews in Tel Aviv, maybe it makes them look up and say, interesting. Reminds them that, that there is a Torah, it reminds them that there is Jewish law, reminds them that there is a God in the world, or at least there are people who believe that there is a God in the world. Just by doing that, just by living our lives. So in conclusion, I just wanted to remind us of the importance and the impact and the power that we have just by living as we do, just by looking like how we do, just by living this way and looking this way, that we really impact people around us, And if we think it's wonderful to take like big steps in terms of Jewish outreach and big steps in terms of combating, the spiritual korban, but I think that we shouldn't underestimate the impact of just living this way, just doing this, just being here, just dressing like an Orthodox Jew, living as an Orthodox Jew, just being this way in the world, and the impact that has. Okay, so I think I was blessed with an amazing week. I think the week of Tisha B'Av, I think I'm going to pass. But so, Kol Tov, and have a meaningful and easy fast. Kol Tov.